The non-commissioned officer appearing in many of the mechanical assembly scenes is Staff Sergeant Louis Fiore, Section Chief of the Servicing Section. Sergeant Fiore and his crew are now attaching the rotating frame assembly to the bottom of the 4 fins of the thrust unit. The rotating frame assembly, also known as the tilt ring, is attached to the bottom of the fins with 4 large locking collars. The locking collars attach to lugs located on the bottom of each fin. Servicing section personnel are now hoisting the thrust unit out of its transport trailer so that it can be mated with the missile body. The missile body is resting on the warhead transport trailer to the left. The thrust unit is now suspended from the A-frame rigging. And here we see the transport trailer being driven out from under the thrust unit. Note the number of men standing on the tilt ring. They were required to keep the thrust unit in perfect balance while the transport trailer was being driven out from underneath the thrust unit. Here we see sitting on its side one of the 4 steering rudders that will be attached to a thrust unit fin. The missile body is now being backed down to the thrust unit. In this view, note the man who hops up into the skirt section of the missile body. His tasks will include mating the electrical connectors and the high-pressure air lines once the missile body and the thrust unit are mated. He also assists in aligning the 2 missile sections for mating. The bulkhead at the end of the thrust unit is the top of the alcohol fuel tank. The long rectangular box on the side of the thrust unit houses one of the 2 air pistons used to separate the missile sections in flight. On the later Block II missiles, the pistons were mounted internally. The 2 units are aligned for mating with the use of 6 ball and socket guide pins. The thrust unit and the body will now be secured together with 6 explosive bolts threaded through the 6 guide pins. The completed missile is now both supported by the warhead trailer and the A-frame rigging. Finally, the missile rotating frame assembly will be attached to its 2 pivot points on the launcher. High-pressure air lines are now being connected to the tilt ring valve box. And this tilt ring J box intercepts missile signals simulated in the analyzer van.